You know, I had always been involved, gone to, even after my mother, gone to Relay for Life, participated, followed it, had friends that were there, walked for them. But I remember that year it was now my turn. And I remember what happened is I have a pink boxing ring and I brought it for the first time. And my thing about fighting were these pink boxing gloves. Gave out thousands probably of little pairs of pink boxing gloves. And so it was when you step into the ring with cancer. So that was sort of the fundraising event that I had at Relay for Life that year. But when I looked on the sidelines and I saw my husband and my sons as we did the cancer walk with other women and men, and I looked at them, and I had a woman that I knew from Home Depot that came and said, walked up beside me and grabbed my arm, and my other sisters and brothers as we walked there. It was just, you know, you're in a fraternity and a club or a sorority that you would have never joined. But I was blessed by all of those people. You know, the journey has many blessings.
And I know in 2009 you actually helped create and organize a very unique group called the Kentucky Thoroughbreast Fillies for the Cure. So explain to our viewers what that was and the meaning behind that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was approached, some of us were approached by Jim Thaxton, who was part of the health department and also an avid canoeer and involved, and he brought to us the idea of dragon boat racing. And visited a couple other events, one in Canada, and got to know the doctors, because in Canada, often when we're waiting 6, 8 weeks or months before they were able to get their services, and this group had formed. So we formed the first group of women in northern Kentucky and a dragon boat team. It was called the Kentucky Thoroughbreast Fillies for a Cure. That group continues on today. They've partnered with St. Elizabeth Hospital. They continue to have a dragon boat event specifically around cancer every year in September, and it's just grown. So I was glad to be part of that, you know, kind of a co-founder and an early part of that team. Since then, other dragon boat teams have formed, committed to fighting cancer and joining that battle. But it was a unique, you know, as we sat around and thought about a name, we said, you know, well, thoroughbred is Kentucky, but you know, we said Kentucky Thoroughbreast. That's what we are.
And for those who see our program and watch our program and are needing that extra encouragement on how to move forward with this particular topic and issue, what type of advice would you give?
You're surrounded by individuals who love you and care about you. I always say they're going to be there for you. Talk to other women. I always say, call me. Talk to someone who's had that experience, because we know what it's like. We know what it's like when it's tough and you're home and you're in that. There are dark periods. I used to call it good week, bad week. Good week was about a week or so after the chemo. Bad week was about 4 days after chemo, and it's horrific. But at the same time, know that there are individuals and other women and men there to support you. Also, you know, with your medical team, it is so important to make a plan. That plan is not anybody else's plan, but your plan. And once you make it, you know, work your plan. You're on a mission now, and that mission is to save your life.
And share with us too in our last few moments. You've brought several items with you for this segment that kind of reflect some of your life over the last several years and your journey. So talk about that.
Well, I have one daughter and I have 6 granddaughters now, but pink was not my favorite color. I have had sons. I didn't look good in pink, I guess. But when every cancer has a color, breast cancer is pink, and so I have a whole trunk. I have a show that I do about stepping into the ring with cancer, and your world turns pink. So, but all of these are significant. The hat is from the dragon, the Kentucky Thoroughbreast. That fluffy thing I wore at a derby time when I didn't have hair. Fight Like a Girl was my theme for a pink boxing ring, and you can imagine how crazy it looks when you step out in a pink bathrobe as a state rep, and it's like a stand-up comedy routine. I often say, you know, we talk about ball teams. You know, how is it that you're Florence Freedom, or whether you're going to a Reds game or a Bengals game, but you've got on a red Bengals or a red shirt. So it does, you know, cancer has a color, and this one happened to be pink.
Well, Representative Wishner, we thank you so much for joining us once again here on In Focus Kentucky, but also sharing your personal story about breast cancer and thriving through this process.
Thank you, Mario, and thank you for, you know, Spectrum, for putting this out there in every way that we can try to reach women to realize that maybe they haven't had a mammogram. It's time to get in, to be seen, and how important, because it's about their lives.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching In Focus Kentucky. Coming up on next week's program, we'll have our final preview of Kentucky's 6th District congressional race, and Congressman Andy Barr will be joining us. Plus, we'll share details on how you can get prepared for Election Day. Until then, have a great week.